Scary moments you would not believe if not filmed. You'd be calling this video a compilation of lies because the moments shown in it are so scary that you would not believe them if not filmed. Sinkhole opening in a road. Ever wonder what it would be like driving peacefully on a road and then the next thing you know is that you're seized by Earth's surface? It will be really scary to think that Earth may look calm on the outside, but on the inside, my friend, the story might be a whole lot different. Water is the culprit here. It may erode the rock layers beneath the earth, causing a sinkhole to open anywhere on the road when it is challenged with considerable pressure. It occurs remotely, but the scariest part is that it occurs without any warning. The tragedy occurred in Russia and was filmed. Luckily, it was a small sinkhole. Otherwise, it would have been a major catastrophic event because what could be more chilling than you driving on a road and then being swallowed by earth without any prior caution? But you know what? You'll find the answer to your question as the list of terrifying moments progresses. Lighting. After talking about the disaster that ground brings, let's not forget the sky got no mercy either. It can frighten you just in a blink of an eye, and all your life will flash in front of your eyes. In Canada, Bryson Lake Lodge and the guests taking refuge in it witnessed a once-in-a-lifetime moment and wished that they had never seen it again as they saw what could happen when there is lightning versus a tree. The guests knew about the storm approaching, but they never ever expected this terrifying feat of lightning. The lightning struck the pine tree standing in the corner and crashed into the point that its detritus dusted everywhere, causing damage to the roof, but luckily leaving the guests unharmed. Plane losing its wheels. Some events are so scary even if you just imagine them. And when you do, they feel like a nightmare that's never going to come true. It's one of them, but the difference is that it's real as hell and was caught on tape too. An isolated island in the Antarctic named King George's Drake's Passage is a perilous piece of water, where the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans meet oceans converge beneath South America. In 1819, the British claimed the island, and in 1940, Chile claimed it as its own. Argentina desired to participate in the action, but the U.S. and Russia thought otherwise in 1943. It belonged to them and them alone. On November 27, 2014, a pilot from Brazil tried to land a rescue aircraft, King Hercules C-130, at the airport with 48 persons on board. George Island as the pilot prepares to land, but things quickly go from bad to worse. The pilot arrives for what appears to be a smooth landing. However, the back wheels suddenly lock up the moment he touches the runway. The plane leans left and skids across the ice, producing a snow cloud to be sent out by its wing. One little object in the air may be seen through the haze, and the explosion takes place eventually. A plane's propeller stopped turning and continued to whirl as rescue personnel turned to the direction of the plane's crash location. Of all 48, no one on board sustained any injuries, walked away unharmed. The dramatic sight of the building collapsing. Watching a building crumble might stupefy you at the particular moment, rendering you unable to think what to do and where to go, as waves of fear frequently quiver your body. A prefecture-level city in China's southern Shanghai province with 2.6 million residents, they boast a climate affected by monsoons and chilly and dry winters, with high humidity summers are the best. This weather departs Hong Kong toward China. Violent landslides and strong rainfall. The area one is where it's weakened by a rainstorm. Fortunately, nobody was building in the city, and nobody was inside at the time the ground gave way. People saw the structure come tumbling down, disintegrated, creating a huge dust cloud. Across the street, rocks and dirt fall down the hill in the mud before destroying the entire structure. Fortunately, individuals residing within the building were emptied before it collapsed. Simply put, these are living expenses in one of the most prone to landslide nations in the world, I suppose. Being creeped out by an intruder. One doesn't always need thunders and earthquakes to be terrified. Sometimes danger just stares through your soul and leaves you stunned. Similar was the case when the creepiest thing happened to a woman, Jojo, and his son when they got home. After spending the late night running across town, Jojo and her son Daniel had finally made it home. The two take their time entering their home after arriving, but almost as soon as they do, they shut the entrance. He is out there, out of the shadows. A figure can be seen walking toward their home. He tries to enter the main door right way. Daniel and Jojo start yelling at one another, the usual family fare. Daniel does not want to take a shower before going to bed despite Jojo's request. However, you can still hear someone attempting through the noise of the argument to suddenly jar open the entrance door after it had just been closed. When Jojo noticed the man, she tells him to go. When the man hears her, he takes a step back and stays and simply looks at her ring cam with a vacant look. No one is certain of the man's exact origins. However, some people think he followed the mother and son for the majority of the night. Others believe he was waiting for them to return home before setting up camp at their house. Acting on his malicious motives, however, it is hard to predict what if he had been able to enter that home. What would he have done? Jojo bravely intervened by calling the police. The only thing still standing when the police arrived was their door camera film. We are all left to speculate as to what the intruder might have done if given access. Being chased by a hippo. Did you ever run for your life? If not, then you might get a virtual experience by watching this clip that will frighten you to your soul. The South Central African nation of Zambia is renowned for its plethora of natural resources, including wildlife, forestry, and arable terrain. Many tourists travel to Livingstone to see Victoria Falls on the Zambezi River. On May 23, 2021, a group of friends scheduled on a cruise along the river and received a little more than they anticipated. While touring the African countryside, most visitors hope to see some wildlife, but nobody anticipates seeing a lion. Before the hippo's head goes over into the water and it begins to chase you, you can see it sticking out of the water. When the hippo suddenly lunges at them and leaps out of the water toward their boat, the driver had to shift it to high speed. They managed to capture the dazzling view. Before the boat can quickly escape and reach safety, the hippo pursues them for 200 meters. Hippos, according to the San Diego Zoo, can walk underwater at a speed of roughly 5 miles per hour and can hold their breath for up to 5 minutes because they are too heavy to swim or float. This water was presumably shallow enough to the bottom where the hippo would run. Escaping an avalanche. Last but not least in this list of blood-curdling events is an unanticipated attack of an avalanche calamity always strikes suddenly. That's what makes it scary, and an avalanche like that, you wouldn't believe if someone described it to you without the visual aid of footage. In the Chinese province of Yunnan, the autonomous Tibetan prefecture of Dequan exists. 48.3 million people call the mountainous province home. Dechen is home to 400,000 of them, although the mountains in the Yunnan province are stunning. If you're not careful, they could be dangerous. Avalanches are possible. These hikers discovered in January 2022 on a dime how quickly the wall of snow may descend the mountain. In light of what they just endured, they might still be in shock. Thankfully, no one was wounded and no public structures were damaged by the avalanche. Tightrope competition. As reckless as it may sound, tightrope walking is not just limited to the circuses, but now it has been taken to another level in China. And by another level, we mean horrifying as hell. Because losing balance doesn't just mean losing a mere competition, but it may mean that you might lose your life too. A 3,000-foot long wire suspended 100 meters above the water in Hunan province of China is an amalgam of hair-raising entertainment, and if messed, then a near-death experience. As there is no safety net rendering the practitioners to fully rely on their practice of being steady, meaning losing balance equates to losing life. And the competitors don't just settle with completing the feat with steady feet, but they're also in a race of beating each other to decide who conquers death the fastest. Do you know what is even more scarier that tops this list? It's the idea of you not subscribing to the channel after watching this video. Go hit the like button and subscribe for more spine-chilling content.